did you get in?
The door was unlocked. Do you want me to wait?
No. Come in now.
My rat character. His name's Apollo. I want him stuffed. He's pretty stuffed already, being dead and everything, but...
He's still bleeding.
Oh my God.
Murder call, Central 10, standing by for VKG.
Go ahead, Central 10.
We have a deceased at this location. It appears suspicious. Could we have Central detectives on the crime scene at 10?
Central 10, copy that.
Got to be kidding. Where's the rest of him?
We'll get to that. Victim's name, Michael Pritchard. Blue to his mates. Next of kin have been notified.
Right. Was he killed here?
Fisk thinks so.
Right, and how'd he get in here?
Well, a young fellow out there came here to inquire about getting his rat stuffed. Found the front door open. Him and the owner looked up and saw it.
Dulcie, do you have an estimate as to when this might have happened?
Less than a day. There's no sign of decomposition. Perhaps sometime last night?
Any idea what was used to cut the head off?
Well, the cut's clean, slightly uneven. Whatever it was sharp. Razor sharp.
Okay, rest of the body is this way. Put on your mittens, it's in the cool room.
He was a gunshot wound to the chest, very close range by the looks of it.
Killing took place in here, did it, Fisk?
Well, there are blood spatters. I also found pellets on the floor. That would certainly indicate that, yeah. Constable, did you get some detail on the chest here?
Yep.
Right, same as on the head.
What have you found?
Feathers on the head and the body as well.
Well, feathers from what?
Well, I have no idea yet.
Do you know what this is for?
No, I've been asking myself the same question. It's a frame, it's full of sand. Excuse me.
Can we have a look around in here?
Not yet, no.
Good, thank you.
Blue came in the day before yesterday with the duck. Or was it yesterday? No, day before.
The duck, sir?
He's a hunter, the president of the gun club. He's always coming in with something for me to take care of.
And was he due to pick up the duck yesterday?
No. A job like that takes time. Especially for Blue and his mob. They won't settle for second best. That's why they come to me.
When did you leave here last night, Mr. Smith?
Oh, a bit later than usual, I think. I had Blue's duck to do.
What time was it exactly?
Exactly? Oh, well, that's 6, I think.
Did you lock up before you left, sir?
Please don't touch that. It's very delicate.
Mr. Smith, did you lock up before you left?
Oh, yeah, I could have sworn I did, you know. But when I got here this morning, I didn't have my keys.
Then how did you get into the store, Mr. Smith?
Good question. Yes. The door was unlocked. I don't know what happened to those keys.
Well, was there anyone here with you last night?
Only Kylie. Kylie MacDonald. She works here part-time. She left before me. Kylie's a good kid.
So, where was he shot? I mean, the body, the head, where exactly? I know, you're not about to tell me that, right?
Mr. Smith said that you had a set of keys to the shop, is that right?
Yeah, they're here somewhere.
Did your boss have his keys with him last night, Kylie? Do you know?
Arthur? Don't know, I wasn't babysitting him, was I? I had to finish an assignment.
Communications? What's the assignment on?
The aesthetics of the horror genre. Here they are. Marshall, these are detectives. Marshall's my flatmate.
How do you do?
Blue Pritchard was shot last night. He's dead.
Yeah? Couldn't happen to a nicer bloke.
And why do you say that, Mr.
Bowden. If I had my way, the whole lot of these Neanderthals would be strung up.
Guns are for morons. Is this yours?
Yeah. It's ironic, isn't it? Blue Pritchard being shot.
Where were you last night, Mr. Bowden, if you don't mind me asking?
At work. I'm a chef.
Right. What about you, Kylie?
I was here working on my assignment. I spent the night downloading research of the internet.
Would you mind if I held on to that?
Be my guest. The more of them out there, the better.
The entry wound is 20 millimetres across. There's also soot in the wound track, which indicates extreme proximity, so Lance was right.
This surprises you, Imogen?
There are 4 exit wounds in the victim's back, so the weapon is a shotgun of some description. It also explains the number of pellets I'm finding still in the body.
Yeah, I think you'll find that it was a 12-gauge shot. I found a couple of used shells on the floor of the shop. Rim marks will obviously help to match the gun.
If we find one. Hey, what about the feathers you found?
And feather particles still in the wound.
Pillow. Found it in the back alley behind the shop. It was obviously used to muffle the shot.
So he was already dead from the gunshot?
Yep.
So why would they decapitate him and put his head on the wall?
Hunters and their trophies.
Who hunts hunters?
You thinking Marshall Bowden?
Well, he hates guns. He hates people who use guns.
A pacifist who kills people.
Maybe he thinks it's for the greater good. He had access to Kylie's keys to the shop.
He did.
I'll have a cast of the neck in 20 minutes, OK? That will help us identify what was used in the decapitation.
This is amazing. It's a bit spooky. Check it out. Even gets expression onto the animal's face.
That terrified I'm about to die look fascinates you, does it?
No, it's the detail. Have a look. Come on. It's unreal.
I'm a bit busy.
Taxidermy's an old art, actually. Dates back to the 17th century.
Just carcasses infested with mites. Millions of them burrowing in, laying their eggs and then dying there themselves.
That's a bit more information than I needed.
Every specimen here is a breeding ground for vermin. This, however, is the tool that I think we've been looking for. Constable, photograph, please. Come on.
No. Look, it's my shop and no bugger's going to keep me in.
Yes, this is still a crime scene, Mr. Smith, I'm afraid.
What are they doing with my things?
We need those for testing, Mr. Smith.
Expensive equipment. I've got jobs to finish. I've got customers waiting on orders.
Sir, a murder was committed here. Please be patient, all right?
It's nothing to do with me. Look, Blue had enemies. If you want to find them, you're looking in the wrong place.
Mr. Smith, please, sir, please, back under me. Thank you. Just stay there. You know, I would have thought the gun club members would be Blue's friends, not his enemies.
LOGA, what do you suppose that means?
Lots of gun-happy... I wouldn't have a clue. Can I help you? Detectives Hayden and Vance from Homicide. You Danny Trainer?
Oh, don't wish that upon me. Stan Greaves, club treasurer. Danny's my son-in-law.
I would like to speak to him, Mr. Greaves.
Yes, well, I reckon he would have crawled out of bed by now. I know that my daughter's home. Right. You're here investigating Blue's murder, aren't you?
We are.
Yes, I heard on the news. His death is really going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons for the club.
Oh, Mr. Greaves, what does this stand for, LOGA?
Leave our guns alone.
Well, this is the clubhouse. When you say cat amongst the pigeons, are you referring to the tension within the gun club, in particular between the victim and your son-in-law, sir?
Yeah, well, Blue was Logan president. Had been for years. My son-in-law was working pretty hard to change all that. Looks like he's got his wish, huh?
Still, we were mates. See the photo.
Oh, there's Danny in the middle there with Blue.
The fight for club presidency, how bad is it?
Pretty bad. Sheridan, I'm here, love.
So Danny's pretty intent on becoming club president, is he?
Danny's intense about everything. Blue wasn't gung-ho enough for him. Danny thought he was weak.
Dad?
This is my daughter, Sheridan Traynor, Danny's wife. Sherry?
Mrs. Traynor, we were hoping to speak to your husband.
What's the matter, sweetheart?
Danny hasn't been home all night, Dad. Disappeared. So was his shotgun. I went out to do some shopping about 6 last night, and when I got back, he was gone.
All right. When did you first notice that the gun was missing?
This morning. He hadn't been home all night, and I came out here, and he always lets me know if he's going away. Always.
Look, can we do this later?
Just one more question, sir. Do you have any idea where he may have gone? A friend's house, anything like that?
No, I called everyone I could think of. Danny doesn't have too many friends outside the club.
Steve?
Yeah. For every bullet in every one of your guns, there is a murder victim waiting to be avenged.
No, there's no signature, but that's the same logo as the brochure at Kylie's place.
Okay.
Leave me alone.
This is our friend, Mr. Bowden. He's a known troublemaker when it comes to anything to do with guns. He even lobbied to have guns taken away from beat police.
A record?
No, but that's more good luck than anything else, I'd say.
He didn't seem surprised when we told him that Blue Pritchard had been killed, did he?
What about this missing person, Danny?
Traynor.
Where does he fit in?
I don't know anything about what's happened to Danny Traynor or Blue Pritchard for that matter.
So you're not responsible for this threatening letter?
I wrote it to the organisation, not the people. Anyway, writing a letter and killing a bloke are two very different things, Detective.
We didn't say anything about Danny being dead. We just said he was missing.
But Blue's dead, and that's what you're thinking. Either Danny's dead too or he's the killer. Given his track record, I'd go with the latter. They're all the same, you know. All too quick to solve their little disputes with a bullet.
Your flatmate has keys to the taxidermy store, right? You could also have access to these keys, couldn't you?
Sure.
You said you were at work last night, sir. Where do you work?
At the French Cafe on Chubb Street. Started at 8 and worked through till about 4 this morning.
It's a late night.
I specialise in food for lovers.
Did you kill Blue Pritchard, Mr. Bowden?
No, but I'll be sleeping a whole lot happier knowing he's dead.
Well, thank you for your time, Mr. Bowden.
Marshall,
Slumming it back.
What are you doing here, Kylie?
it's probably nothing, but
What's nothing?
I found this in Arthur's shop.
Come sit down.
Hope this is the right thing to do. It's just he's been acting really weird, and I thought you should see it.
How's he been acting?
Well, I found him lying in that box in the freezer, just lying there like Count Dracula, you know. It just freaked me out a bit.
These are notes on how to preserve a body for stuffing.
A human body?
Well, it's certainly possible. Jeremy Bentham, the philosopher, he had his body preserved after death. Apparently he believed that it would be cheaper than erecting a monument to himself.
It's a bit arrogant.
Oh, I don't know, it has a certain appeal.
So how do you actually do it? How do you stuff a body?
Well, I suppose the size of the specimen would complicate the procedure
But
somewhat.
it'd surely operate on the same principle as any other animal.
Yeah, would you do the honours, please, Imogen? I suppose you'd start with a plaster cast of the subject.
You know, that'd explain the sandpit you found in the freezer.
Would?
What, so are you saying that it wouldn't be that difficult?
No, well, I think probably the most difficult thing would be stretching the skin over the mould once it's been
It'd be
made.
enormously fiddly.
Well, some bits more than others, of course.
Not to mention being illegal, thank God.
Well, I don't know about that, Imogen. It does entirely depend on where you live. Human taxidermy is legal in 5 states in the US.
Do you really think that Arthur Smith was planning to stuff a human being?
Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith?
Did I do it?
Do what, sir?
Kill Blue. The more I think about it, the more I think I could have.
Are you confessing to the murder of Blue Pritchard?
No. No, I didn't say that at all. I just said that I could have done it.
Not something you'd forget.
What makes you think you could have done it?
It's no fun getting old, you know. Things just seem way too hard to get hold of. See, I can't remember that night, Detective. No matter how hard I try, I just can't get past Kylie leaving the store.
You don't remember going home, sir? No. Do you remember making this file, sir?
Where'd you get that?
Is it yours, Mr. Smith?
Who gave it to you? Kylie.
Sir, there are plans in here on how to preserve a human body for stuffing.
No, don't call it stuffing. It makes it sound cheap. Taxidermy is an art form.
Mr. Smith, why did you put this information together?
Professional curiosity.
Really? Then how do you explain the framework in your freezer, sir? It's large enough to fit a man.
You think I killed Blue so I could practice my skills? No. Whoever killed Blue Pritchard had no idea how to slaughter a specimen for preserving.
Why do you say that?
Well, a great hole in the pelt right here. And you never cut the throat. It gives you no play whatsoever when it comes to mounting the head. You need as much of the neck and shoulder area as you can get, or you don't get a clean line.
Insanity is a great defence in a murder trial.
What, do you think the memory lapse is an act?
I'm not going to discount him as a suspect.
Well, he's still top of our list.
Until the missing shooter turns up.
Yeah. Danny Traynor.
Got it! Over here, mate!
Oh, my God. That's him. That's Danny. Where was he found?
In a swamp, southwest of the city.
He's been shot, Dad. Who would do that to my Danny?
Will there be an autopsy?
Yeah.
Single gunshot wound to the head. Fish have been nibbling at the wound. Evidence of decomposition, early marbling of the skin.
Tootsie, could this have been a suicide? Could Danny have killed Blue Pritchard and then killed himself?
The damage to the skull doesn't suggest it. If this man held a shotgun to his own head, there'd be hardly any of it left.
You're still searching the swamp area. Hopefully a weapon will turn up soon.
Fisk, any chance it'll be the same weapon that was used to kill Blue Pritchard?
Don't know, I'm a scientist, not a clairvoyant, Hayden.
I beg your pardon, sir.
Tootsie, can you tell if this man died before the other victim?
Well, look, that's hard to say. They certainly died within a short period of one another. If I had to hazard a guess...
It'd be an educated hazard, would it?
I'd say the other guy. Blue Pritchard died first, but...
You'd deny it if we quoted you.
Quote me on what?
All right, so we have 2 murders on our hands, which brings us back to our first theory. Some kind of vendetta against the Shooters Club. Can you think of anyone who might have had a grudge against your husband and Blue Pritchard?
The worst thing we've ever had is a rock through the front window.
We've had some death threats at the club. The anti-gun lobby are pretty fanatical.
Anyone in particular?
Do you think they'd sign their names to it?
Mr. Greaves, when was the last time you saw your son-in-law?
Well, the day he disappeared. I went over to the house and dropped some paperwork off that afternoon.
Did he seem upset, worried about anything?
Even if he was, Danny, he'd never tell me.
I suppose I should be glad he didn't die the way Blue did. To be chopped up like that. Your head hung up on a wall like some horrible trophy.
Well, the campaign for presidency got ugly more than once. I just got sick of it.
When you say ugly, what do you mean, sir?
Well, Danny was known to throw a punch or two in his life, especially after he sank a few.
He's a drinker?
The worst kind. And he drinks when he's angry, which was pretty well all the time, and just got angrier. I don't know how Sheridan put up with it.
Wait a minute. You're saying that Danny Traynor was abusive towards your daughter, sir?
If Blue had any guts, he would have kicked Danny out of the club a year ago. It's hotheads like my son-in-law that gives us all a bad name.
Mr. Greaves, you work at a funeral parlour?
Yes.
So you prepare bodies for burial and cremation, is that right?
Yes, and driving a hearse and arranging funerals. It's a very small operation, Detective.
Mr. Greaves, where were you 2 nights ago, sir? The night that Blue and your son-in-law were murdered?
At home.
Anyone confirm that?
No.
Well, according to Sheridan, Danny was a proud member of his gun club and a dedicated husband.
Oh, really? Well, according to his father-in-law, he says he was handy with his fists and didn't confine it to his shooting buddies either.
What? Sheridan?
That's the picture I'm getting.
Guess what? We found a shotgun in the swamp, registered to Danny Traynor. Fisk is running ballistic tests on it now. Now, what have we got in the way of alibis?
Right, I spoke to Kylie's internet service provider. They say she was online for 7 hours, logging off at 1 a.m.
Yeah, but she could have downloaded and then left the computer on to do the work.
Yeah, but there's no way of checking. Besides, what's a motive?
7 hours on the internet? You got to be kidding.
Yeah.
I was on for 12 hours straight once. Should try it, sir. It's like being on another planet.
No, thank you, Constable. I'm having enough trouble keeping Earth on the straight and narrow.
Okay, right. I spoke to a waitress who works at the restaurant Marshall works at. She says he was there the night of the murders, but not the whole time.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, he wasn't there for an hour and a half, but they covered for each other a lot on slow nights.
Marshall? Detective Vance is here to talk to you.
I'm getting dressed.
Is anything wrong?
We just need to clear a few things up.
They're mine. Been collecting them since I was a kid. They always remind me of Fantasia. You know the movie? Marshall reckons I'll make a psychologist very rich one day.
I had one when I was a kid. It was Santa's house.
Still got it?
I broke it trying to figure out how it worked.
Would have thought it was pretty obvious how they work.
Well, things aren't always as obvious as they seem, are they? Where were you on the night of the murders, Mr. Martin?
I told you I was at work.
Not for an hour and a half, you weren't.
Okay, so I shot through for a while. Is there a law against that?
Well, we need to know where you were, Mr. Martin.
I just went for a walk, okay?
A walk? Was there anyone with you?
No.
Oh.
Okay, I was with someone.
Good. Got a name?
I can't tell you that.
Why not?
Because I don't know, okay?
You don't know?
She was a prostitute.
Uh-huh.
I didn't need to go to her, you know. I just did for something different. Look, I am sick of being the bad guy here. Why don't you concentrate on those gun-happy bastards at the club?
Police don't know anything.
They're asking too many questions, Arthur.
They won't find out.
You can't guarantee that. I want out, okay?
You can't back out. It's too late for that.
There are too many things at stake now, Arthur. We're taking over the presidency of Loga, and I can't afford to be mixed up in any of this.
You've got nothing to worry about.
You don't know that.
You better calm down, Stan.
All right. But you make damn sure that I'm kept right out of this.
You will be. I promise.
There are all these rotting corpses with millions of dead eyes staring at me. Then there was this chewing sound, and all these cockroaches started to come up out through the ice.
You never tell us about your nice dreams.
Don't have any nice dreams.
So you lot right over there, yeah?
Yes, Fisk, I think we are.
All right. Well, the good news first. Now, the saw that we found at the shop yesterday was definitely the one used in the decapitation. It had been cleaned, but there were minute traces of Blue Pritchard's flesh in the teeth.
Right. And the ballistic test?
Yeah, well, not such good news there, I'm afraid. We've done some test firings on this gun, which we found at the swamp. But the breech face and the firing pin impressions were different from the ones we found at the crime scene.
Meaning?
Well, there's nothing to suggest the gun we found in the swamp killed Danny Traynor.
Yeah, thanks.
And it wasn't the one that killed Blue Pritchard either.
Right, so it wasn't the gun used in either murder?
No.
Thanks.
Right, so where do we go from here?
OK, look, we've got one major link, and that is that both victims belong to the same gun club and were murdered on the same night.
What was Blue Pritchard doing at the taxidermy store that night? You know, Arthur Smith said that the duck wasn't ready to be picked up. It was after hours. Why did he go to the shop?
Someone invited him, maybe?
I'm going to go back to the shop. You coming?
No, I want to work on something else.
What?
Well, with these two out of the way, guess who becomes president of the club?
You tell me.
Stan Greaves.
No, I'm sorry, I don't know where he is. Yeah, of course. I don't like lying to the police, Dad.
I haven't got time to talk to them right now, but I will, though.
Why do the police want to talk to you, though?
Oh, Sharon, leave it alone, will you? Got plenty of work to do. We've got to organise a general meeting to replace the president, and I've still got work to go to.
It's going to be very different around here, isn't it? Without Danny, I mean.
You should thank your lucky stars there, girl.
Yeah, I suppose I should.
Here it is, just like I said.
All right, good. And Blue Pritchard wasn't expecting this to be ready on the night that he died, was he?
He knew how long it usually took, I told you.
Right,
Now,
good.
are you finished? I have to get on with my work. And I want my saw you took the other day.
I've told you,
got
Mr.
orders
Smith,
waiting.
we need that sort of evidence. I'm sorry.
Hi.
There's no work for you here today. You might as well go home. Here, I'll pay you.
Arthur, listen.
There's nothing to listen to. My file was marked private. Private.
Do you want to have a look at this, Mr. Smith?
But that's none of your business.
What does it refer to? Stan
both of you.
Greaves had nothing to do with this. It was me.
Get out! Both of you, go on, get out! I don't want you here.
Okay, I'll get this back to you. Thank you. Yeah, Steve, we're going to need a search warrant. Yeah.
Mr. Graves, this is a warrant to search your premises, sir? Yeah, well, you go right ahead. I have nothing to hide. The warrant covers the vehicles as well as the premises, sir.
What in the hell do you think you're going to find?
We're still looking for the gun that killed your son-in-law and Blue Pritchard.
And do you think it's here? Ridiculous.
Would you mind vacating the vehicle, sir? I'd like to search it.
Steve?
Yeah.
Is that what I think it is?
Blood.
Whose is it?
It's our man in the swamp, Danny Traynor.
Right.
Thanks, Fisk.
Most welcome.
What did you tell the cops about me?
What do you mean?
They think I did it, Kylie. They think I killed Blue and Danny Traynor.
I didn't say anything to them about you. Honest. What are you doing?
Getting the hell out of here.
That'll just make it look worse, won't it? I mean, if the police are suspicious of you, then running away isn't real smart. Why do they think you killed them?
Because they have to blame someone. I'm not going to hang around until they blame it on me.
I don't know how that blood got into the car. I didn't drive it the night Danny disappeared.
Where was the hearse that night, sir?
The funeral parlour, where else?
And who would have had access to it besides yourself?
No one. No one that I know of. Look, I didn't kill Danny, OK?
Mr. Greaves, this note we found at Mr. Smith's shop, Stan Greaves had nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with what, Mr. Greaves?
I told you, I don't know. The man's half senile. It proves nothing.
Mr. Greaves, your son-in-law's blood was in the back of the hearse you drive. That's evidence, sir.
You had access to his house, that's opportunity.
He was abusive towards your daughter and trouble for the gun club. That's motive.
Now, would you explain this note, please, Mr. Greaves?
Stan's my friend. He was trying to help me, that's all.
And what was Stan Greaves helping you with, sir?
I used to be good-looking, fit, but arthritis starting to make my work more and more hard to get through. It isn't too much to ask that I be preserved in the same way I've preserved so many thousands of creatures over the years. I give them life and respect. I give them immortality.
You give me the heebie-jeebies.
I don't want to end up in a nursing home, dribbling into my porridge. You can understand that, can't you?
How's Stan Greaves involved, Mr. Smith?
Well, I can't do it without him. He knows how to preserve a body. Besides, he's the one who'll get me after I die.
Get you?
My body. It's already organised.
And what does he get out of the deal, sir?
Money. I've already given him $10,000. And he get the rest out of my estate. God, it was all settled until Blue and Danny went and got themselves killed.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, Stan got nervy. He wanted out of the deal, an indemnity at least. That's why I was writing that note. It was the only way to make sure he wouldn't back out on me.
The most bizarre thing I've ever heard.
Well, maybe so, but I've seen old Arthur sitting in that freezer of his, and we know he's got a ton of research on how to preserve a human body.
Do you think Stan Greaves did it? I mean, once Arthur was dead, all he had to do was take the money and run. Nobody would have been any of the wiser.
A detail he didn't think of. Detail he didn't think of. Detail he didn't think of.
Your head hung up on a wall like some horrible trophy.
Hunters and their trophies. Problem is, we still don't have a murder weapon.
Is something we should be looking at, right?
Yeah, the media reports on Blue Pritchard's death. What details were released to the public?
Be my guest.
Mrs. Traynor!
Oh, you scared me. Have you let Dad go?
Mrs. Trainer, how did you know that Blue Pritchard's head was mounted on the wall like a trophy?
It was in the newspaper.
No, it wasn't. There was no mention of the head actually being mounted.
It was Dad. Arthur must have told him, and Dad told me.
Right. Did he lend you his hearse as well? When he got into his car today, he had to adjust the mirror because someone else had been driving it. That's how your husband's blood got in the back of the car, isn't it? You used it to get rid of his body.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, we have enough circumstantial evidence now to charge your father with the murders. Is that what you want? Is it?
I didn't mean for Dad to get the blame. I swear it. Danny was such a pig. He used to hit me.
Yeah? And what about Blue Pritchard? Why did you kill him?
She didn't, did you?
No. I didn't. I went to the taxidermy place for Danny. The door was open. There was this hammering. I looked up and there was the head. I thought that someone who's murdered once, then they're not going to worry about doing it again. I figured this is my chance to get rid of my husband. I wanted him out of my life so badly. I couldn't do it by myself. I needed somebody to help me.
Rachel, who was in the store with you? Who gave you the help? Come on, who was it?
Kill Blue Pritchard. It's the only way to get things back in a balance. Know what I'm saying?
Tell me.
I have this theory, see, that when something bad happens, only another bad thing will make everything right.
Who's that in the photo with you?
My little sister Jessica. We weren't supposed to be on the lake. It was a rule, you know, but we snuck out anyway. We knew we were being naughty, but it was kind of exciting, you know. We were laughing. Not out loud, just secret little giggles. Just had the best laugh.
What happened?
There was a bang, and I can remember all the ducks flying out of the reeds, squawking their heads off. I got a hell of a fright. Jess fell out of the boat. I laughed. It was hysterical. Till I saw the blood.
What happened to her, Carly?
She hit her head on the side of the boat. That's what the coroner's hearing said. Accidental death.
And was it Blue's shot that startled her?
But they blamed me. Because I took her out on the lake. Can you believe that? I was a kid. My parents blamed me. And every time they looked at me like I was a killer. But Blue Pritchard murdered my sister. You know what? I don't think he even realised it. Even after the inquest, he said it was just one of those things. Just an accident. But he realises it now. I made sure he did before he died.
And what about Danny Traynor?
That was Sheridan's idea. She interrupted me. It was blackmail, really. I don't mind that. To replace the one you broke when you were a kid.
So she called Blue up, told him his duck was ready. He hightails it down to the store and...
But Kylie had an alibi, the internet.
Yeah, she started downloading and then left the computer on to do the work, knowing that we could never prove it.
She's just a kid.
Kylie stopped being a kid the day her sister died. Good night.
Yeah, good night. Get the balance right, that's what she said.
Yeah, that's just a pretty way of saying an eye for an eye.
You know, when I was a kid, there was a guy in the grade above us. Real bully.
What, so you decided to set the balance right, did you?
Oh, yeah. Waited down by the creek. I was going to teach him such a lesson.
Yeah, did you?
No, beat me to a pulp.
Well, there you go. Two wrongs never make a right.
You know something? I've never seen snow. Don't like the cold.